Hi, and welcome to Filmmakers Compass Podcast, a show where we talk about movies and, well, more movies. I'm D-Man, joined by CP, and CP, I have to say, I am absolutely loving your shirt. But for those just listening, can you describe it?
Well, you should, because I have a great wardrobe selection. And this is the head of, one of my heroes, Leonardo, the Ninja
Da Vinci?
Turtle.
Oh,
Well, who cares about Da Vinci? What did he do? Leonardo, the turtle? Man, he destroyed the Foot Clan.
Right? I was not describing a Mona Lisa shirt. So, anyway, CP, for what it's worth, I appreciate that you're wearing your shirt because for those watching, but those listening, I'm actually not at home today. I'm traveling for work, and thus I'm recording in a hotel room and forgot to pack my TMNT shirt.
Yeah, what a noob.
I know.
I think it was just like last week's episode. D-Man's like, I'm really going to step up my game on this podcast. I'm going to start doing social media. Yeah, no. Doesn't do social media. Does not wear the wardrobe appropriately. Look, I am trying, man. I am trying to get this show to 65 million listeners.
I can't believe you had that clip of me just queued up and ready to go because that sounded exactly like me.
I know.
Well, because this is mostly an audio podcast, maybe I get a little grace on this one, but really I should be wearing my shirt. But here's the thing. And for anybody that is interested in a visual, we will be posting our thumbnail for this on Instagram, and that thumbnail will have me in a TMNT shirt.
It will. Appreciate that, D-Man.
Anybody listening will never be the wiser. But as you can tell, listeners, we are going to be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles today, which is pretty exciting. And as always, I'm super psyched when CP just suits up and wears whatever's appropriate. So well done.
You're welcome. One of us has to do it.
Yeah, I love that. So before we get into the topic of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, though, of course, we got to do our shout outs. So first up this week is none other than Ivor. So thank you, Ivor, for sending in your message. He said, rewatchable films. Are you watching it over because you like it, like the way a kid would watch Bluey over and over again? Ooh. Or rewatching because you always catch something different, like the movie Tenet? Now, okay, that's a horrible example.
Man hates Tenet. He actually hates Christopher Nolan.
All right, neither of those are true. I don't hate Tenet. I do think it's one of Christopher Nolan's not best works. But to that end, Tenet literally made me not want to rewatch it. After it was over, I literally was like, I don't care. Versus something like Interstellar or Inception, which are some of Christopher Nolan's best works. I immediately felt compelled to rewatch them to learn how time dilation works. And then I went down YouTube rabbit holes. And then, when I went to bed that night, I went down like 5 dream layers. It's pretty awesome. But funny. I'm just saying, yes, I think for both instances, Ivor, you're right. A movie like Star Wars, A New Hope, I watch maybe as a comfort movie. I just love the movie. And thus I can put it on almost at any time, anywhere, and just enjoy it. Also, shout out to approximately 50 years ago. This is exactly when they started shooting Star Wars: A New Hope.
Yes, I know, dude. How awesome is that?
Really cool. And for anybody that hasn't seen any of the countless documentaries or even interviews with George Lucas on the making of the original Star Wars, that story is epic in its own way.
Dude.
Yes.
I met a guy last week who was an editor.
Okay.
And he was the assistant editor on the Star Wars Ewok special.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he told me that the original editor got fired. And so Lucas just stepped in and edited the whole thing himself with this assistant editor. And he's like, yeah, like Lucas, like he like didn't care. He didn't want to take any credit for it. He was just like, you know what? We got to get it done. I'll just do it myself.
Lucas is in there just grabbing reels right after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, right. Wild, right? Anyway,
that is pretty amazing.
I'd like to hear that.
Well, shout out to that guy. But yes, Ivor, I can watch Star Wars over and over again, or there's always movies where you're just learning something new. It's layers and layers deep. Maybe for, another Nolan reference is Oppenheimer. So that one's pretty good. But In Ivor's case, he continues his shout out by saying, in my case, I will use rewatchable where I'm flipping through channels and come across it randomly and just stop flipping. So, of course, you're describing Jurassic Park. But he says those movies for him are The Godfather, almost any Bond film, any of
Hmm.
the indie films, even the bad ones,
Ooh.
Silverado, and The Empire Strikes Back. So that is a hell of a list, Ivor. I like that a lot. Do you disagree with any of those, CP?
Well,
I mean, The
yeah.
Godfather, it better not be that one.
No. I was thinking more of like the last two Indiana Jones movies. I'll never watch those again and be totally content.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
Dial of Destiny. Oh,
Dial of Destiny. I didn't even know I did see Dial of Destiny, but I saw it on streaming.
I saw
I
Dial
actually
of
didn't hate
Destiny.
it.
I saw Dial of Destiny in the theater and I just wanted to jump off a bridge.
That sucks because I love that Harrison Ford was still trying to ride horses and get it done just for our entertainment. But it doesn't always work out that way. But CP, um, somebody's calling you out here. You went and saw TMNT Secret of the Ooze in the theaters. I did as well, and we're going to be talking about it on this episode. And at Real Dave Penner had a couple of thoughts for you.
Oh, Dave
So
Penner.
all I have is his comment, but I'm assuming that your review, your retro review of TMNT Secret of the Ooze was that it was not as good as the original movie.
Of course, I said it was a lot of fun. It was great seeing it on the big screen. It wasn't as good as one, but it was better than three. That's what I said. And
At
I
Real
stand by
Dave
that.
at Real Dave Penner said, dude, more fun than the first one, better character work, better fight scenes, funnier dialogue, vanilla ice. It's better than one. There, I said it. That's a pretty forceful comment.
Oh, I know.
And he said, honestly, better puppetry too. So he
Wow.
covered I mean, there's music in there, vanilla ice,
I mean, yeah, there's
comedy.
100% more Vanilla Ice than there is in the first one.
But I mean, that's just better music.
I mean, I agree.
Go
Look,
ninja, go ninja, go, go ninja, go ninja, go, 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 go.
oh, so good.
I made a funny.
Oh, oh, oh.
So classic. Thank you at Real Dave Penner. I always love when Christian's wrong, so people need to call him out on it. Appreciate
Wow.
that.
Wow.
Uh,
Thanks.
you had done a post CP talking about movies that people watched during St. Patrick's Day. Um, someone said you missed Luck and Luck of the Irish. That was
I
Brian
actually
Kintel.
yeah, I actually watched Luck of the Irish myself.
Jessica Casa said Boondock Saints, of which was part of your post,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what
Mm-hmm.
she
Mm-hmm.
watched. Uh, Lana Link said No Waking Ned Divine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Listen, I only could have put up like 10 movies, guys.
John Quinn said usually it's Grabbers, perfect St. Patrick's Day movie. Never seen that, so I
Never
can't.
seen it either.
Yeah, I can't verify that. And then Ivor did jump in here and said good choices, but I'm going with Sing Street or Calvary.
I thought Ivor would have watched the Leprechaun movies.
I mean, no one said that,
I
although
was
that was in
actually
your.
shocked.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that though. Um, so that was a lot of fun. I do want to mention that Drucker chimed in and said that TMNT Secret of the Ooze is the best TMNT movie. So you're
Wow.
wrong again.
All everyone's doing is call me out on this podcast. Okay.
Yeah. Um, but you're wrong, and that's fine. In response to the Dune Part 3 trailer, CP, are you pumped?
I'm so pumped.
Uh, Matt Shula chimed in and said, the cinematography, the music, the story, the action, the CGI, how can it not be up there if 3 is as good as 1 or 2? Referring to will Dune be the best trilogy of all time when it's all said and done?
I mean, D-Man, I know your thoughts are original Star Wars trilogy,
And then
followed
Lord of the
very
Rings.
closely by Lord of the Rings. But I mean,
And then The Matrix. No, I'm just kidding.
I I I'm even shocked I'm about to say this, but Shula could very well be right. I mean, if he, sticks this landing, I
Could be
mean,
epic. The
it
trailer
could,
was epic.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
they have a quote. This is not the quote. This is me paraphrasing, but the director had a quote where he essentially said that part three is his favorite part, which makes me think that he is not lacking for passion.
No,
Dune Messiah is literally his favorite Dune book. So,
I, I, I mean, I also feel like if you respect cinema in any way, when you've seen what he's done with two movies back to back that are incredible, like, oh, I just, how can we not put him in the conversation?
I mean, parts one and two definitely solidified themselves as theater movies. Part two, and specifically when he's riding the sandworm, I remember being in an IMAX theater. It was just nuts. And then, of course, like the end battle was epic. Seeing it on a TV at your house just doesn't do it justice.
I
So
know, dude.
the scale and
Well,
scope there, and the special effects, even the music, the act, all of it was
well,
fantastic.
we're about 9 months out from going to see Dune Part Three
Oh,
in
that could be pretty
theaters.
exciting.
So
Pretty
excited.
exciting. Well, while we're talking about movies in the theaters, Project Hail Mary just dropped, and a couple of our listeners actually had a chance to go check it out. So Michael Tacone chimed in and said, "I thought it was exceptional, heartfelt, funny, real, story driven. Gosling is the effing man.
Well, what
White
does
boy number
Michael
one right now.
Tacone know about movies?
Tell you this, Dark Knight is his favorite movie, so that's
No,
got to give
Dark
him
Knight Rises is his favorite movie.
no, no,
No,
no.
he told me it was Rises.
Mikey, you're going to have to correct CP here because he's wrong again. It is The Dark Knight, and that should give Michael Tacone at least a little street cred. His favorite movie isn't like White Chicks or something. I
I
don't know.
hope
That's a
someone
good
out there
movie.
chimes in and is like, my favorite movie is White Chicks.
I'm not hating on White Chicks, but I mean, if that's your all-time
No, just
favorite
like
movie,
that's a poll. Like that's the one that like sits at the top of their like White Chick. I know.
yeah. And then Boone chimed in and said, I agree with Mikey's review. Obviously, having read the books, we were a little nitpicky, but it was more, I wish they had been able to show X, Y, and Z versus I didn't like how they adapted certain things. And after watching that, I wish Miller and Lord had been able to finish Solo, which was actually finished by Ron Howard.
Hmm.
And maybe it wouldn't have been as bad, which I don't think Solo was awful. I mean, CP, you're a Disney Star Wars guy. What do you think?
I mean, there's nothing I love more than Disney Star Wars. So Solo is like my number one favorite Disney Star Wars movie.
Hey, at least it's not
I
Rise
mean,
of
it's tied
Skywalker.
for all of them.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. On Solo, I don't know if it would have saved it. I'm assuming they changed it up for a reason, so who knows about that. But Boone, I did not read the Project Hail Mary book, so I'm glad that from someone who read it, they really enjoyed it. That's awesome. So thank you, everybody, for your comments and shout outs. I appreciate that. And now, CP, we have a fairly extensive list of happy birthday shout
Oh
outs.
boy,
So
lots of birthdays, huh?
I'm just going to read them out. Happy birthday to Manina, Matthew Hellison, Julian, Connor, Stephen, and Doug. Happy birthday to all of you.
And I wish you all a better birthday than D-Man just wished you.
Wrong again, because I am wishing more than CP. And that is obvious
Wow.
because I'm the one
Wow.
who brought the shout out. So CP is going to be wrong a lot today, I think.
Wow. All right. Well, it's gonna be that episode. That's fine.
Yep. It's just another episode.
Just some Russell Crowe fighting around the world.
All right. Well, that does it for our shout outs. Let's go ahead and jump into box office breakdown.
Thank you, D-Man, on this week's box office breakdown. Some exciting stuff. Couple new movies in the top. We got to talk about them. Number 5, Reminders of Him. This was number 2 last week. I actually have no idea what this movie is.
I think what's sad is I didn't know that last week and I don't know it this week.
Yeah. It looks like it has made total $53 million. So that's
Holy
not
shit.
terrible. but I've not heard anything about it. I'm reading the description right here on Box Office Mojo. After prison, a woman attempts to reconnect to her young daughter, but faces resistance from everyone except a bar owner with ties to her child. Oh, I saw this trailer.
I didn't see it.
I did see the trailer.
That sucks that you saw the trailer and didn't remember it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a bad marketing campaign.
Yeah, I mean, like for whatever they were doing with that trailer, apparently it did not register with you at all.
No, not.
So
Yeah, I was like, it was one of those movies that you're like, nope, just right over my head. Not the type of movie I'm gonna see. In fact, I think I saw the trailer when I went to see Wuthering Heights. So, clearly not the target demo. Number four,
gotcha.
first week. This was just recently released, and this is Ready or Not 2. Here
Hmm.
I Come.
That got a decent marketing pitch. That's not the highest debut though.
No, no, no. It made about
Ooh,
$12 million last weekend, which seems kind of low.
yeah, I think that's low for a sequel. They were
Um,
probably expecting more than that.
yeah, especially since they spent more money than they did on the first one. So,
Yeah, my guess would be if they felt strongly enough to greenlight a sequel, then they were expecting a bigger box office return than
hmm
that. Bummer.
so this one,
Number three.
number three, opened last weekend. Also a sequel.
Hmm.
I have never heard of the original film, and I've not heard of the sequel film, but maybe you have. You're much more cultured than I am. And that's Durndar, The Revenge.
Ooh, I have not heard about it,
Well,
which
it's
just means you're wrong again.
this, in fact, is a film from India.
Oh, okay. That
And
makes sense.
apparently, it is an awesome sci-fi or like spy thriller action movie.
Is it at AMC? Because maybe I'll go check it out.
Well, you should look and see. I don't know. You have like a million AMC's by your house, so one of them should have it.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
But
Ooh, can I guess number two?
yes, you can.
Is it Hoppers?
It is, in fact, Hoppers,
I
which
figure.
let's see what Hopper's done so far.
Like, is it a top Pixar movie or a bottom Pixar movie?
I mean, it's a little weak. It's made $242 million in 2 weeks, which actually seems low for a Pixar movie.
Yeah, that does seem low. Like I said last week, though, my perception of the trailer and the stuff that was marketed, it felt like it was marketed to kids. And whether that's true or not, I haven't seen it. I don't know. But I feel like Pixar generally is able to walk that tightrope of like, here's a really cool story. Kids are going to love it, but parents, adults, you're going to love it too. Because how
Yep.
else do you get get to a billion?
No, I listen, I'm with you, man.
And for whatever reason, this one, maybe it's the animal characters or something. It felt too cuddly,
Hmm.
and it just didn't feel like it was for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It might have just been the marketing campaign. They needed to do something a little different. Because if you go watch like, influencer talk or influencer gram of all the movie reviewers, most of the people who saw it really liked it. So I would assume word of mouth
Yeah.
would be
Yeah. Yeah.
high.
I've heard that everyone who I know who's seen it really loved it. But box office wise, it just,
Hasn't
it will
resonated.
probably make $600 million and everyone at Disney will be happy with that. But I don't see it breaking $1 billion.
But that's nuts because if you really think about it, there's not a lot of competition at the theaters right now. I mean, for adults, there was things like, the World Baseball Classic, or right now there's like March Madness and some of that stuff. But for kids, I mean, it seems like, well, is there anything else? I don't even know.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's kind of wild when you think about it that way.
Well, I'm almost positive I know what number one is.
Well, there is Goat, which is a kids movie in the theaters, but yeah, I mean, it's not in any way comparing. Oh, they
Bad
also made the
marketing.
Pout Pout Fish movie, so there you go. There's two.
Bad marketing again. I thought Goat was about Tiger Woods.
I thought it was about Tom Brady, so we were both wrong.
Wayne Gretzky.
All right, number one, we know what it is. Lots of great word of mouth on it, and that's Project Hail Mary. And the really amazing thing about Project Hail Mary is it has made $140 million worldwide,
Oh my God.
$80 million domestically this past weekend, which
Amazing.
There was a great stat circulating earlier that this and Oppenheimer are the only two movies that are have broken $80 million in an opening weekend that are not
A
established
sequel,
film
remake.
franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I
I
mean,
mean, these aren't totally original IP. They are both based off of novels, but I
I
mean,
have to
great. Way
say
to go. Great opening weekend. I really want to see the
the
film.
marketing on both those was superb too. I mean, they're really doing a push for Project Hail Mary. It's also for me, it's the kickoff to the real movie season of
All those movies that
2026.
we've been looking forward to.
Yeah, not to
Yeah.
say that there wasn't anything theater worthy, but at the same time, this was the first movie in 2026 that I'm like hyped about to go see.
Okay. I
So
mean, you should be.
that's pretty awesome. Well, thank you, CP, for box office breakdown. And to any of our listeners, let us know if you've seen any of those movies and what your thoughts are. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our main topic this week, CP. It is the 35th anniversary of
Yes, sir.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze. And because it's an anniversary year, they sent it back to the theaters where you can go see it on the big screen. And it was quite a delight. So that is why CP is wearing his Leonardo da Vinci shirt.
Yeah, that's exactly right, D-Man. So the film was originally released on March 22nd, 1991, and they decided for the 35th to release it on the 13th, so pretty close time frame.
Yeah.
And you and I were both lucky enough to go catch it in the theater on the opening weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know what your theater experience was like, but my theater was pretty packed. They did have a couple of things set up in the lobby for this showing, although it was weird. They didn't have a lot of showings at a lot of the AMCs. They had like one, maybe two showings on the weekend. Seemed light to me. They didn't have like four. So it was like you had to make the one.
So my experience was the total opposite.
Mm.
There was one theater near me that had it. It was a Regal. It was not even like the super, super nice Regal.
Huh.
I went to the theater with my buddy John Hall, and
Oh,
him and
cool.
I
Shout out,
were
John.
the only two people in the theater.
No, that sucks. Sorry,
Yeah,
man.
it was wild. I was like, where are all the Turtle fans? Like, can't the TMNT get some love around here? Because if you remember a couple months ago when we both went for the original
Yeah,
TMNT 35th anniversary, it was in fact packed.
same. Yeah. So for this, my theater wasn't full, but I would say there was a good amount of people. People definitely sung along to, Vanilla Ice, and there was some cheering where like they do the freeze frame,
Hmm.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze. Everybody's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So there was definitely some energy. I even when I was waiting in line for concessions, a guy next to me and his father were visiting Southern California from Australia. And this was their third time going to see this movie
Oh, dude.
because for the son, it reminded him of his childhood and he just couldn't get enough.
I
So,
mean, that's pretty cool. And I think that's what's great about the anniversary screenings when you can go back and watch something that you love on the
yeah.
big screen. Like, so much fun. I just think it's wild because I'm like, why was there not more love for this? I just was a little shocked, you know?
Yeah, same. And that's the thing is it's a little jarring, especially given the turnout only a year ago for the first one. You're like, so those same people aren't turning out for Secret of the Ooze. That's
Hmm.
what's a little jarring. I think if we had gone a year ago and they're the same, you're like, oh, okay. I mean, maybe Turtle Mania is over. But
Yeah.
you're like, no, it seems that the love for the first one probably exceeds that of the second one. But that's only in attendance because I don't know about UCP, but when I talk to people about which movie is their favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I feel that it's often Secret of the Ooze, not the original.
Well, that's not what Drucker said. Oh, wait. That was because he's wrong.
Oh, sorry, Drucker. Now you're wrong.
I mean, I do get a lot of people that like The Secret of the Ooze, and I don't know, I don't know what that is. I mean, actually, I do know what it is. I think part of it is the tone is significantly lighter.
I know it feels closer to like the animated series from like the 80s. So I don't know. To me, I think one of the things that makes people remember Secret of the Ooze so fondly is that I think it appeals more to kids, and we were
Uh-huh.
kids when we saw it. And so our nostalgia is like, that's the one I liked more,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and I
even
mean,
though objectively, like the first one's better.
yeah.
So I don't know. But one of the cool things you had at your showing that you mentioned in pre-production, which I didn't have at my showing, and I'm not sure why. Maybe because you were at a Regal and I was at an AMC.
Maybe,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
You said you had some pre-show stuff in your theater, which is also really cool. I love when they do that.
I did, and it was great. The first thing that they showed was actually a documentary interview with Kevin Eastman, kind of looking back at the Turtles over the history of it.
Like Turtle
And
Mania.
yeah, yeah. And Kevin Eastman was talking a lot about how, there were a couple points he brought up that I thought were really cool. One of the things he said that he still loves about Ninja Turtles is the fact that the people who grew up reading the comics, their kids are still Turtle fans because of
Yeah,
the
that is
cartoon
cool.
and the fact that the Ninja Turtles have been reinvented so many times in film, cartoons, and comic books
More times
that
than James Bond.
everyone still loves the Turtles. Um, the other thing that he mentioned was cinematically, they really wanted to take this film as an opportunity to explore the origins of the ooze because, as he said, when they wrote the first book, they only thought they were going to get one. They crammed as much stuff as they could in, but they kind of just left the ooze thing out there as a cliffhanger, hoping that they'd get the opportunity to explore it later.
That's cool.
And I thought that that was a cool idea. So, the final point that Eastman said was, it was really cool that at the time the movie came out, they had created a successful cartoon universe of the Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles, a successful comic book universe, and they were building a successful film universe. And essentially, all three of these were existing at the same time, but were
Hmm.
independent worlds of their own, kind of, where the stories were
That
different, the
is
tones were different.
interesting. I
Yeah,
guess
right?
we think now of like the Marvel MCU, but really like they're adapting certain comic lines, say Civil War, which was an incredible comic, but it's not like panel for panel, right? They
Mm-hmm.
adapted it to the MCU and made it work there. But it's weird because even that doesn't quite have like the animated series version.
Yeah, yeah.
There are animated Avengers stuff, but I
Yep.
mean, I don't think nearly on the same level as the other two, the comics
Yeah.
and the movies.
Right.
But they were all really, really popular in the late 80s, early 90s, like
Yeah, it was wild.
insanely popular.
And I mean, and when you really think about it, the time from comic book to cartoon to film is only a couple years. Like
Yeah.
we're talking 3 to 4 years, and the next version launches, and then the next version, and that's just insane to me.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to me too when like they're adapting the comic book to a cartoon, and the cartoon is really for kids, right? I don't want to say it was to sell action figures, but they're like, you know, in the same vein that they had Transformers and GI Joes, they're like, oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles
yeah, yeah,
could
yeah.
be great, and it was right. Like it ended up selling a lot
Merchandising
of
was
action
huge.
figures. Yeah,
Yep.
it was massive, but it's weird because as big as that was not necessarily a faithful adaptation of the comic. I
No.
mean, a lot of the elements were there, but in terms of tone and style, they didn't actually look identical to the comics. They introduced new elements visually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was much more comedic.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting. And then you go to the movies, and like we said, the first movie is actually probably closer to the comics, where it's a little bit more dark. The turtles are teenagers and they do joke around and stuff, but like thematically, it's darker. And then you get to Secret of the Ooze, and it feels more like the cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
think
know,
that's the biggest difference.
I mean, I wouldn't have been shocked if they just threw the cartoon intro song in there.
Kind of, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would totally work. It's funny though that I forgot how many elements of the first movie actually make it into Secret of the Ooze because the music's actually the same. They use a few of the plot points sort of match up exactly. It was kind of interesting.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that until I watched. What are some of the plot points that you're specifically thinking of?
So they have like the freeze frame introduction where like in the first one it's April O'Neil getting robbed and like Raph is like, and then he like I lost the side, but I can get it back. But
Yeah.
really it's like the turtles going through the thing. In this one they like high jump into action and they're fighting these robbers. But from there they have sort of I think Kino, who is a new character in Secret of the Ooze, essentially replacing Casey Jones. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. I
And
mean,
to a lesser degree, I don't want to, shit on Kino here because he's actually a pretty cool character, but like Casey Jones was awesome.
yeah, no, yeah, you're absolutely right.
But they have that beat where I think Splinter literally does the origin story again when they're sitting around the couch, probably at exactly the same time point. You have the Shredder return, which I bet is also where the Shredder's introduced in the first
You
movie.
do have the point where Raph and Kino sneak off, which is probably the same as when Raph and
Yeah, he needs to go vent on
Casey
the roof.
Jones. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like there's some of it tracks, not all of it, obviously. There's no ninja rap in the first one.
No, there's not.
So, but I mean, there's a lot that actually does line up, and the music was one of the things. But for the things that don't line up, I think in the second one, the villains are funnier. So
Y-
I think they play Shredder. He's not scary or intimidating the way he is in the first movie. He's dealing with like
He's much
Tokka
more
and
like that
Razor.
cartoon Shredder that's like, oh, why are they babies? Like, yeah,
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 they're babies.
yeah, yeah.
And he's like, pissed off about it. But yeah, kind of like Bebop and Rocksteady. So I don't know that I think that was one of the things that really stood out to me. In this one, I guess I don't know if you ever heard this story, but apparently because of I don't know, some parents groups that didn't approve of the first movie, they thought it was too violent, which is crazy by 2026's standards. But apparently the first movie was too violent for kids. So in this one, they really toned down the use of the turtles' weapons. I don't know if you noticed it.
Yeah, you do notice because it's much more like hand to hand stuff, and even in
Yeah.
it, like Michelangelo's using swinging the sausages instead of actual chucks,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
So
Well, and I heard that it even went so far as because of the perceived violence and with the weapons, like I heard that when the first TMNT was released in like Europe, they added like cartoon sound effects to like try and reduce the violence of it.
like the old Batman movies, like
Yeah.
pow,
Yeah.
bam.
And in England, they actually edited it to not depict nunchucks because apparently, of all the weapons, those were the most dangerous.
Super offensive. Yeah. That's not how you chuck. I mean,
um,
at least they have a scene where Kino busts out the nunchucks, right?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and I think doesn't April O'Neil try to chuck herself? She's like, yeah, I do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. When she meets Kino, when he comes by to deliver the pizza the first time.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was interesting. I don't remember that as a kid. That totally went past me. I never sat there and thought, like, why don't they use their weapons?
Yeah.
So I don't know if like that wasn't like sort of a trivia thing associated with it. If I would even recognize that though. Because let's face it, in the first one, like, sure, they're using weapons, but it's not like Leo stabbed people or like cut their arm off. It's not John Wick.
No, I mean, like, it's actually not nearly as violent as it could have been, considering that they're using ninja weapons.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, nobody's getting stabbed there. I don't think there's any blood.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some of that stuff to me, like, definitely didn't stand out, but apparently is very different. In this one, because the Foot Clan and Shredder knew where their sewer den was, they have to find a new home.
Yep.
So they go to the train station. Now, what did you think? Do you like the train station more or the sewer den?
Um, I mean, the sewer is iconic turtles, but I actually think the trains the subway station they find is kind of cool. It's
It is
actually
cool.
it's a very interesting parallel to the second Ghostbusters movie,
Interesting. What
right?
do you
Where they
mean?
find that train station thing
Oh
underground.
yeah, yeah, okay. When they're like going to find the slime,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ooze.
yeah. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think I would disagree there. I like the sewer den more. I know part of that has to do with the animated cartoon because I had the toy, the
Oh, so
sewer den.
sick. Yeah.
And so when I played with the action figures, like prior to the movie when I was a little kid, like I was always that was where they were.
Yeah,
So
no, I
it's
agree.
more of an action figure thing than it was anything else related to like the movies themselves. Because like you said, I think ironically, the train station's better lit and just looks more fun.
Hmm.
If I'm just being honest, I think as a kid, that's probably why we liked it more.
Yeah.
But like there's something that's just off to me, like when they're in the sewers and they're like square tunnels. I'm like, no, they have to be round. Like
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're
I
right.
can't hate I hate it. Like it bothers me. I know it makes more sense, like that's probably how they actually are.
But you're
But
like,
like
that's not
the
as much fun.
yeah, the way they're portrayed in the first movie is how I always imagine them.
Yep.
That like that's so I don't know. For me, the sewer den is number one. Now, we mentioned Kino was sort of a stand in for Casey Jones. And I don't know why they didn't bring back Casey Jones, if that was a contract dispute with the character or something. And they felt that Casey Jones was expendable because they also cast a new April O'Neil, of which was not expendable. Apparently, you can't make the Ninja Turtle movie without April O'Neil. So they recast that role.
Well, and they do bring Casey Jones back in the third,
Yes.
which
As
they,
total comedic relief, though.
yeah, yeah. But they never, Judith Hoag never returns as April O'Neil. So now I know there was some dispute kind of when she was doing the publicity rounds for the movie, talking about how she didn't like the costume. She felt like she was underutilized as a character. So I imagine there's just some bad blood between the producers and her, and they're like, you know what? This is the Ninja Turtle movie, not the April O'Neil movie, so you are expendable.
So here's what's interesting for me with the April O'Neil situation. I heard the same thing that she had made some comments. Now, going back to the first movie, I also heard that I believe it was the director and the cinematographer were let go in post production. So maybe if the director and the original crew had come back to do the second one, they might have kept her on. But because they moved on, they probably took that as a perceived slight and they're like, you're gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But when it comes to April O'Neil, because of the cartoon and the animated series, I thought the recast actually looked a lot closer to how I imagined April O'Neil looking, which was, sort of a carbon copy from the animated series.
Hmm.
But if you ask me which April O'Neil I like more, I like the one from the first movie because I felt she had like a real edge.
Hmm.
She was literally pushing journalistic boundaries. She's pestering the police chief. They have one scene in this one where she like walks up to the police chief.
Yeah.
I'd almost say his role was borderline a cameo from the first movie. Like he's not
Yep.
even a real character.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So to me, I thought her character was much more interesting. She
Not
had that
not to
banter with
mention
Casey Jones.
there's the whole, she really dives into her relationship with her father, and that's the reason why she has the antique shop. Like there's much more history and depth to the character than we get in this one, where it's kind of just stand in for female protagonist A.
Yeah. So I think I like the character from the first one more, but ironically, the one that was cast in the second one
Paige
is that
Draco looks more like
yeah,
April's what you're saying.
how I
Yeah.
think April
Yeah.
would look.
Okay.
But lastly, and we have to bring this one up, Donatello.
The Donatello thing, I think, is the point that bothers me the most. And I know Dan said some, or not Dan, Dave said that he liked the Turtles' portrayal better in this one. And I don't. And it's the Donnie thing that bothers me the most. Part
Okay.
of it is I feel like in the first Turtles movie, each of the turtles are very distinct personalities, and the way they approach situations, the way they respond, the way they behave is a reflection of that, right?
Yeah.
Raph is like super ultra
Hothead.
independent and angry and moody,
I can
you
get it
know.
back. I can get it back.
Yeah, right. Donnie's the scientist guy, and he's rebuilding. He spends a large portion of the movie rebuilding the van, right?
Yeah,
Mikey is the Mikey that we know, and Leonardo is wrestling with this new role of being the leader in the absence of Splinter, right? We don't
yeah,
get that kind of individualism in
yeah. They're
Secret of the
much more a
Ooze.
group.
And they all kind of behave, they go the same places, they say the same way, they all kind of act the same sort of juvenile Michelangelo style. And I think the biggest problem I have is Donatello feels the most out of place in that movie, the way that they write him and portray him. Now, I know they put him at the end, he's helping the scientists do the science stuff, but
Yeah.
that's just for a little scene and it feels just wrong to the way that the character's made.
Well, he does have a little bit of uh he's looking into their past, right? His perception of who they are is that they have some sort of more divine purpose, I'll say. That they have to be here for a reason, that this didn't all just happen as an accident. And he is sort of turned off by the idea that like the ooze just fell into a drain that a couple of sewers and a rat were in, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I liked that characterization, even if it didn't come from Donatello. I mean, if it was the Turtles as a whole, I liked that idea of sort of thematically looking at like, do we have a destiny or, do we sort of make our own?
Yeah.
Right. And I
Yeah.
feel like the movie is dealing with that a tad, but only a tad because, right, they have that scene on the rooftop where Splinter's like, I have never explain to you your past, and then he like brings out the TGRI
Yeah.
canister and like puts
Yeah.
it together and they're like, oh my God, we need to go get another thing of ooze so we can learn about who we are. Meaning, I think the theme of this movie is that who you are doesn't come from these outside elements. They
Yeah.
feel defined by the ooze, by TGRI, by why are we here? When really, like, I think the lesson they learn or are supposed to learn is that, that your self worth comes from within. It doesn't
Yeah.
come from these other things. But I also, to that end, if we're just comparing the first two, I really love the theme of the first movie, which is like family. You have Danny and his father. You have April talking about her dad. You have the Turtles and Splinter, and even I would say the Foot Clan and a lot of the Lost Boys see Shredder as a father figure, right? Like
Hmm.
found family.
Yeah.
And I like a lot about what they have to say about fathers and sons and sort of what that all means. And I do think the first movie hits a little harder for me in that regard, even though I think the themes are recognizable in both.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was one thing. Another thing that, tell me, okay, as a kid, one of the coolest things was Super Shredder. I mean, I could almost see the action figure in my head. I've been playing with the Shredder action figure. I'm like, oh my God, I have to get a Super Shredder action figure, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
did. I totally did.
Yeah. Yeah.
As an adult rewatching that scene, it's not anywhere near as powerful. I mean, he literally turns into Super Shredder for like a minute, and the turtles are like, oh my God. And they're like shaking in their boots. And then he basically just collapses a dock on top of himself. They don't even beat him.
I think that's honestly the thing that I don't like about this. Like, that's the component of this film that I don't like. Um,
Hmm.
the Super Shredder thing is Super Shredder collapses the dock on himself. Toka
Yeah.
and Razor drink the stuff and turn back into their non-mutant animals. Like, it's all underwhelming in the sense that I feel like the turtles really don't have to confront these, you know, antagonists.
Yeah. Where, when you look at the final battle from the first movie, it's epic. I
Well,
mean,
and it's
not
epic
only,
because not only do they have to team up as turtles to try and beat Shredder, but Shredder's kicking their asses till Splinter shows up.
yeah, they also like fight him one on one, and he's just destroying them up on the rooftop. And even when Splinter shows up and, he does sort of defeat Shredder in his own hubris, right? He rushes him on the side of a building and basically gets the tables turned on him. So not totally dissimilar from collapsing the dock on himself, but at least they made him appear to be a very, very tough
Formidable
antagonist. Yeah.
villain. Yeah.
So, and I feel like that to me is also true throughout the first movie. I mean, when they first introduced the Shredder and he's walking down the hall with that long shadow,
Oh, so cool.
and you hear like his footsteps and all these people, they do the gong and all the foot soldiers and all the kids all rush. And then it's like quiet. And when he comes in, people come and they pull his cape back. He doesn't do it. It's really intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I was very scared of him as a kid, you know. And of course, Shredder does to an extent sort of give off like the Darth Vader silhouette. So I don't know if that's intentional or not, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, in the first movie, he was very terrifying to me. They used him sparingly whenever he spoke. He had that real raspy, deep voice. And, you know, when he said things, people listened. In the second one, they have Toka and Razor. So the secret of the ooze is that now you can use that ooze to your own,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for your own purposes. And the Shredder's like, well, to beat the turtles, I'm going to need my own mutants. So he creates Toka and Razor, and they come out, and just like the turtles in the first movie, they're kids,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Pizza, pizza.
Pizza.
You know,
Yeah.
the only reason Splinter is an adult is because as a rat, he aged,
Yep.
right? So the turtles were young, and apparently Toka and Razor were young. So
Yep.
he got babies. But like you said, when you think about the cartoon and Bebop and Rocksteady and all of that, it
And Bebop and
makes,
Rocksteady are dumb. Like,
yeah, they're
right?
just
So,
idiots. They're
yeah,
not
yeah,
babies.
yeah, yeah.
I always love them though. Like they're like, oh, where did the turtles go?
They're hilarious. Yeah. No, they're great characters. Um,
But it makes Shredder look dumb.
mm,
Like he's not intimidating to me. And I feel like in this one, like, I don't know, he tells people to do things and they do it, but like all his plans get thwarted. Where I feel like the Foot Clan and Shredder win a lot in the first one. They do go ransack the sewer den. They burn down April's apartment. They actually do take Splinter and keep him like captive
mm-hmm.
or hostage. So like they're not inept, they're not dumb, and they are like a formidable adversary for, you know, a group of teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, like that was always just as an adult. Again, I feel like if you're a kid though, you don't care about any of that.
No, you just want to see the turtles and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like if Shredder's yelling babies, it's funny. As a
Yeah.
kid, you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's hilarious." But yeah, he just doesn't do it for me.
And I mean, like, you think about, I don't know, like when you compare the sequence in like, um, when they get jumped by the foot at April's antique shop,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's all on fire and they're going and they're like, they kind of grab Casey Jones. They're like, are you coming, bro? Like, are you coming or not? Like there's like this intensity and sense of urgency. Whereas when you watch the similar sequence to when they fight Toka and Razor the first time and they escape
The
via the suit.
junkyard. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Razor like jumps in there and just like gets stuck.
Yeah. And he's like, "Arr."
And then like Mikey goes over and is like tickling his toes. I'm like, yeah, that's like turtle funny, but it's also like it doesn't have the weight of this that the other sequence did in the first one.
Yeah. And like, so there's other real things that add that weight. One, when they do get to the farmhouse, which essentially they went into hiding, they pulled a
Yeah.
Yoda, they went to their Dagobah, and essentially, like, Raph they don't even know if he's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they put him in the tub, and they're literally like, we might lose one of our brothers too. Because
Yeah.
assuming they've lost Splinter, they don't know if they're going to get their dad back. So there's that element to it. Then you also have the April O'Neil sort of diary VO, where
Yeah.
she's like writing this down and she's like, the turtles have suffered their first real defeat. And like, there's just this weight to it all
Yeah.
that, yeah, the second one just foregoes for comedy's sake. Now, to that end, can we objectively agree though with like real Dave Penner that it is funnier?
I mean, it's funnier. It's fun. I mean, I think the tone is the major difference, right? And I think that this is probably why there's people who love Secretly Used more.
Yeah.
And, doing some reading, that was part of the reason why the director was fired off the first one. He
Hmm.
mentioned how he was really inspired by Batman 89 and was trying to create something a little
Oh, there you
darker.
go. Yeah,
And
I
I
could
mean,
see
and,
that.
and you can see that. And apparently, the cut that we have that was the theatrical TMNT movie is not
The
the director's
director
cut.
cut. Yeah.
So I understand that. And I understand why parents going to see this would be like, oh, this is a little darker than I was thinking. And I understand the tonal shift and why kids like this because this is much more of a kids movie than the first one, which is much more of a, you know,
So I have to ask you, do you think, or okay, we're going to do this all the way down the line, but let's just start with the movies. Does the second movie enjoy the success it has by getting rubbed from the first one? Like, if you had just skipped the first one and made Secret of the Ooze, would it ever have been anywhere near remotely successful? Or do you think it would have still been great?
I mean, I think it would have been successful as a Ninja Turtle movie during Turtle Mania. However, Secretly Used was not the box office success that the first one was.
Yeah.
And these, remember, the production company was like, whoa, we got to get this out so fast. This came out a year later.
Yeah.
And it was not the box office success of the first one, which is a surprise in the sense that usually sequels make more money.
Yeah. That's why they get greenlit right away because you don't want to fall off.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that, and I mean, again, looking at it, Secret of the Ooze only made $80 million
Hmm.
when it was initially released.
Interesting. That is pretty crazy. Now, okay, so I want to do this again with you. Let's go from the animated cartoon to the first movie. Let's say they
Well,
never had a
and just to
cartoon.
follow up, the initial movie made $200 million in the box office.
Okay. Yeah, that's a huge difference. That's double.
Yeah,
So that makes sense to me that the first one definitely had more people in the theater.
right.
So, but okay, real quick before we move on. So, okay, let's say you never have Turtle Mania and you just write a movie script called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You never have a comic, you never have the animated series. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, is not getting the rub from Turtle Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Does that movie do anything? 200 million.
I mean, honestly, I feel like this could have come out in the 80s and been a huge success regardless.
You're right. I mean, it does feel like an 80s movie, even though it's 1990.
But like just like some of the stuff that they're putting out in the 80s, you're like, who? I mean, again, we had a movie called RoboCop about a man who's half cop, half robot.
Yeah, it could have been
And
huge. I
it
don't know.
was insane.
So I don't know. Maybe it would have been. I'm curious what our listeners think. That's an interesting question because I do think sometimes that the first movie has what I would call movie magic, where I'm like, this, if you were to just pitch that as a screenplay and be like, here's my idea for a movie, I have a feeling you're going to get laughed out of quite a few pitch meetings, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
even then, if you got a greenlit by someone, the chance that it even works at all it's low.
Yeah.
Like they have people in turtle costumes. Like it almost is laughable, and yet somehow they make it work. So it's pretty neat.
So, speaking of that, I know that when everyone was vying to get the rights to the Ninja Turtle movie during Turtle Mania, Roger Corman, the king of low budget, C movies,
Yeah.
actually made a pitch where he wanted a bunch of comedians, one of which being Billy Crystal.
Really,
And
to be one of the turtles?
he just wanted to paint them green and have them wear like turtle shell backpacks. And that was
Wow.
going to be the movie.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That could have been what we got. Like, it's nuts that it ever worked.
Yeah, right.
So, but one of the things too that you just brought up, right? So this sequel was less successful, but there's been many instances of movies getting a greenlit sequel right after the success of the first one. A good example being like Home Alone 2 Lost in New York.
Yep.
Now, that had to do with Macaulay Culkin's age and the
Yep.
kids' ages, where they're
Yep.
like, hey, I mean, we can only make this for so long before he just ages out of us being able to do this. So
Yep.
let's get another one. But Lost in New York was incredibly successful.
Mm-hmm.
You think about sequels that have come out, they've been greenlit almost immediately after the success of the first movie. Uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze is definitely a good example of that. Another one would be like The Hangover to The Hangover Part Two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't think they ever, when they made the first Hangover, were like, oh, hopefully we get a whole series out of this. They're like, let's just make a banger comedy, super bad. It's not like they
Yeah.
were like, oh, super bad too. They're like, no, we just made a great movie. And then we figure, oh my gosh, well, how many times could you be hungover?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think another one is Austin Powers. It's
Yeah.
another comedy that really, I think, was a sleeper hit. I
Yeah.
don't even, excuse me, I don't even know if it was actually a huge hit even on its initial run. It gained fans, I think, over time. And then they were like, well, we should do a sequel.
Yeah.
So, but when I say over time, what I mean is like from theatrical run to the home video release. And then that's where it picked up its steam. So we're not talking about years here. We're talking about
Yeah.
minimal amount of time. You know, uh, one movie that's actually a really good example of what I'm talking about is The Fast and the Furious to Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
The Fast and the Furious actually deals with street racing culture.
Yep.
It's an undercover police officer infiltrating a street racing gang in Los Angeles. And then in Too Fast, Too Furious, it's just like action movie mayhem. They're like, oh, forget all that.
Yeah.
I think they're in like Miami or somewhere. They have one race. And then the franchise is like, they did Tokyo Drift, which was actually a dope movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's probably like the least liked of all the Fast and Furious movies, but
Yeah. It's not the same.
yeah, but how excited were you when Vin Diesel showed up at
Oh,
the
it's
end?
amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and then they realized they're like, yeah, we're going with Too Fast, Too Furious, and the rest of this franchise will have nothing to do with street racing. It will have fast cars, but
Yeah,
no street
that's it.
racing. Um, and then I don't know, yeah, you have like the John Wicks, some different stuff where it's like, again, it was like, wow, you could make a sequel and people are going to come because the crux of
Hmm.
what makes this movie is the turtles, it's the holidays, it's the humor, and in
Yeah.
this case it's the action, where you're like, dude, we could do a sequel. He just needs a good reason to kick ass. That's it.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, it's a little strange, I think, for me that you said this one underperformed that broadly.
Well, I mean, it does. And what I think is even wilder is when you actually check the Rotten Tomatoes on it.
Hmm. What does it have?
Well, so there's a ranking on Rotten Tomatoes. Sorry, we didn't even discuss this beforehand. Of the top of the ranking of all the Ninja Turtle films.
Yeah.
And there's like 11 here. We're not going to count like two of them because
Okay.
they're
So
like
we are
animated.
counting like the Michael Bay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's go through. Okay. So number one, well, let's start at the bottom.
Okay.
No, or so there's nine turtle movies. We're not going to count the two animated. One of them is like the Ninja Turtles, Batman versus the TMNT, and the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right,
Sure.
like
Okay.
straight to DVD type stuff from. Okay, so so the bottom of the list here is, I think, as everyone would expect, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Yeah, what is that called? Turtles in Time or something?
No, it's just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Turtles in Time
Was the video game?
was the awesome video game that everybody loved.
Yeah, that
So
game was awesome.
the critics give this 19%, but the audience only gives it 33%.
Yeah, that's pretty low. I actually like that movie, by the way.
Well, that's just because you were a kid and watched it a bunch when you were a kid.
Yeah, it was
So
good.
the next one is Ninja Turtles, the 2014 one. That's the first of the Michael Bay
So the
films.
sequel did better in that case.
Yeah. And again, audiences got 20%, or critics are at 20%. Audience was only at 50%,
Yeah, that's pretty
which
low.
actually is trippy because I believe when we look at this, so the next one is Secret of the Ooze. Check
Okay.
this out. Secret of the Ooze, audiences gave it 68%, but critics only gave it 37.
Yeah, so it was sort of panned in its time as not being that awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
surprised the audience score is that low, only because people love it so much.
yeah. Um, so then there's the TMNT movie from 2007, which was the animated one with
Hmm.
like Chris Evans and Sarah Michelle Gellar. That one has 60% from audiences and 60 or 35% from
Jeez,
the actual critics.
these turtle movies aren't winning any awards, tell you that.
They are not. And again, we get a slight bump with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of Shadows. It's closer to 40% from the critics, but that one the audience gave it 47, which is even lower than the original Michael Bay Turtles movie.
So there's a difference. That one goes higher for the critics, lower for the audience. That's always kind of weird.
So then we come in and look at what I think you and I consider the best turtle movie, which is the original Turtles movie from 1990.
Yeah.
81% from the audiences, but only 46% from the critics.
So still rotten for the critics.
Well, now what's wild is this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Do you even have a guess what it is?
80 for the critics, 80 for the audience.
You are wrong on both accounts.
Okay.
90% from the audience.
Wow, that's so high.
Certified fresh from the critics with 95%.
So the critics actually beat the audience there.
Yeah.
Now, I
Which pretty
do,
much all the other Turtle movies, the audience was beating the critics.
to be fair, I do love Mutant Mayhem. Like, great movie.
No, I like Mutant Mayhem too, but it's not better than the 1990s Turtles movie.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but it is, I do really like it. I mean, it's probably for me the second best Turtles movie. So maybe probably even higher than Secret of the Ooze. Because I thought it was like really entertaining. I actually just
Mm-hmm.
watched it not long ago. And I watched Secret of the Ooze. So but that's pretty cool because, where the critics fall sort of makes sense to me. I'm surprised the audience scores on a lot of those though. Like I know the Michael Bay ones got some backlash for the character designs. That never bothered me. Did it bother you?
I didn't go see the first one in the theaters just out of adamant protest.
It didn't bother
I
me
did
because
end
like
up seeing the second one because I think at that time I had Movie Pass, and so I was like, I'll just go see it.
I think there's this sense from fans that like the cartoon and live action from Turtle Mania is the definitive way that you have to portray the turtles.
Yeah.
I actually liked that they got a little bit experimental with it, and they're like, well, we're talking about mutated turtles. Like they look closer to like Toka and Razor in those movies.
Hmm.
But I was like, I mean, come on, let's have some fun with it. Like they
Well, I
are
think the weird
mutants.
thing was that they were all different sizes in the first one. And in the second Michael Bay one, they adjust the sizes so they're around the same size again.
Really, I gotta look at it. I gotta go
Yeah,
check that
it's
out.
weird because I was like, that was a definitive choice, and it seems odd
Yeah, that is kind of
because it makes it
strange.
feel less like they're like four brother turtles, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Very interesting. Well, I mean, one of the last things that I guess I just wanted to talk to you about was, did you ever get the TMNT live action, like Secret of the Ooze action figures?
Yeah, of course I did.
They were awesome.
They were good. They weren't as good as the animated series ones.
Oh, I know. Those are instant classics. I mean, those probably rank amongst the best of all action
But
figures.
yeah, I mean they were good. I mean, I still have some of them on my shelf. You know, they look good. They were awesome. But for me, the turtles we grew up with were the animated cartoon. Like that's what I think of when I think of the turtles.
I did like the live action ones that were like rubber because the animated ones are hard plastic.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And like the live action ones were rubber and they weren't quite like maybe I guess an equivalent would be like the WWF action figures of the 90s where like you could like crunch their bones and stuff. They
Yeah.
weren't that malleable, but it sort of had like a textured almost like turtle skin to it.
Yep. I
And I don't
remember.
know, there was something really cool. So for me, whenever I played with the Ninja Turtles after that, those were always my definitive. They were the real
Favorite
turtles.
figures. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy, dude. I think about playing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures back in the day, and like I know we're like doing this whole multiverse thing now, but like when I had my action figures, I had different versions of the turtles. One of them was like the MCU Prime, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the other ones just came to visit, and then they would all kick ass, and like Raph and Raph would team up, and
That's
I don't know,
funny.
it's pretty dope actually. The
I know, right?
imagination of a kid, though. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know there's time traveling in the animated series, but it's more like Dimension X, like time traveling rather than like multiverse shit. But here I am in my basement, basically thinking of multiverses and not knowing what to call. So it was pretty fun. I do want to say I lied earlier because I said that was the last thing I want to talk to you about. Of course it isn't, because we have not touched on Vanilla Ice's Ninja Rap.
Dude, I know. Isn't it amazing?
It really is. Like, okay, so two things about my theater experience. One, everybody was laughing a lot, which makes me think that real Dave Penner is correct. And like this movie is just objectively funnier. Because there were a few jokes that really landed
Hmm.
in my theater. Now, of course, you were alone. So unless you were just listening to yourself laugh, you would not know this. But yeah, in my theater, it was pretty dope. Like the comedy was hitting, everybody, was cheering at a couple different parts because it was fun. But like when the ninja rap came on, everybody was like going. And that was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I mean, in that, like, okay, Vanilla Ice, I feel like for anybody that wasn't around at that time or wasn't paying attention, was like huge.
Yeah.
So to even think that he would like be in this movie is kind of nuts because it's what 1991, maybe 1990 when they filmed this.
Yeah.
So that's crazy to me that he's like, yeah, sign me up for the Turtles. And then he ends up, I don't know if he wrote it, but I mean, it's a freaking banger.
No, it's actually a great song. So I don't know if we've ever talked about this. I saw Vanilla Ice perform.
No, I did not know that.
Okay, so I went to this Back to the 90s concert a few years ago,
That's awesome.
and it was ironically enough in Lake Elsinore of all places. And
Nice.
the ticket was $15. And I was like, this has to be like some kind of like 90s tribute thing. So we roll into the concert and it has like legit like 90s hip hop artists
That's awesome.
like Tone Loc and Coolio and Vanilla Ice. And
That is
Vanilla
nuts.
Ice, who is Vanilla Ice, and he knew what everybody wanted, and he sang Ice Ice Baby twice, and he sang the Ninja Rap twice with actual Ninja Turtles coming up on stage with him.
That's amazing.
And it
Like
was amazing.
to embrace that is just so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I love that. I remember I actually like one, I think it was the first concert I ever went to. It was like that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles band.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if they actually performed music or if they just played music and faked it, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. And I don't know, it's just so cool watching it in the theater because the Ninja Rap still kills it.
I
And
know. I
everyone
love
had
how the
fun with
turtles
it.
start dancing. I love how the crowd is like fist pumping. And I mean, Vanilla Ice is doing Vanilla Ice dance moves up there.
Yeah. And actually the fight sequence in the club there is pretty fun.
Yeah, I like how I actually do like the comedy of like when Shredder shows up, like everybody's like, yeah, like they just think he's like part of the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm like, if you're gonna lean into it, then just go all the way, and they totally do. Where he's like, oh, and they're all like, yeah.
yeah. I love it.
Oh, that was so fun. But actually, CP, that does it for our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze conversation. Let us know, listeners, if we missed anything or if you have any comments about some of the stuff we talked about, obviously everybody that hasn't already, real Dave Penner and Eric Drucker, I'm looking at you guys. Anybody that hasn't already told us which one is definitively the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, let us know. Obviously, we've been comparing the first two live action ones, but CP did the whole breakdown of the list all the way from bottom to top. So if yours is a different movie than those two, let us know.
Yeah, and if you really think TMNT 3 was the best, then, come on this podcast and make your case.
Then CP read that list backwards. But yeah, be sure to continue the conversations. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to listen to old episodes, you can find all of our links and everything, a feed of the podcast and everything at filmmakerscompass.com. And you can follow the show at FilmComp Podcast or at FilmCompPod on Instagram. You can follow me at Big Kid D-Man and CP.
You can follow me at NDCal5. Thank you for hanging out and talking Ninja Turtles with us. We will be back here next week. And until then, keep watching movies.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go, 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 go.
Yeah, we're keeping that in.